Okay, so you got a story about cars. Okay,
Delahaye
let's have a look.
was a very famous French car.
Yeah.
Delahaye started at the start of the industry, all the veterans, and made incredible lorries. And they based, because the lorry engines were a 6-cylinder, 3.5 litre, were very, very tough, reliable. They only slightly modified the engine to fit race cars and sports cars by altering the cam formation. It was a tough, reliable engine, not a world beater, but the bodies were incredibly advanced, and the suspension for the day, and in some people's eyes, a beautiful thing to own.
Okay.
So that's that. And they made saloon versions of the same thing with more town cars, but the same specification. All done by outside coach builders. That was the style in those days. You bought the chassis, if you were wealthy, just the running chassis and gear, and took it to a coach builder, but much like going to London having a Savile Row suit made. So the bodies were to a spec, but you could have what you like built on the thing. Of course, cost wasn't even in it in those days for the wealthy.
Yeah.
So there we are. This is the one just immediately. This was a winner. Same engine, 3.5 litre, more aerodynamic. But ours was post-war with totally enclosed aerodynamic wings. An incredibly fast car, nearly killed myself in it. I touched about 135 on the Fossway going to Silverstone, and filled up twice with petrol. The car was bought by Hubert Rees. Well, he loved or hated or loved him. He was an actor, knew Richard Burton, and he was a Delahaye expert. He wasn't an engineer, but he had an eye for French. He spoke fluent French, thus he could obtain these cars very cheaply. From the continent, they were bought for peanuts. But there we are. You had, they also bought Delage 210. A very similar car.
Did you do any work on one of these? Did you do any work on one of these?
Well, that blue one, yeah.
Oh, the blue one.
Not a lot on the motor, but the bodywork mainly.
Oh, okay.
And brakes and to get it in race order. Engine was okay. We were going to do the engine, but it was a little tired, but it went like hell. It was. Just going to show you the Bristol, right? That was this Bristol company, which is post-war now, not based on pre-war technology. You're not still recording this, are you?
Yeah.
Good God. It's a wonderful chapter here on the Bristol company, which actually made in Bristol, Filton. They were instrumental in saving BMW. If it weren't for Bristol cars, there'd be no BMW today at all, because they got all the designers, which most of them were, where they were all, they had to be Nazis, but they were Dr. Porsche, Dr. Fiedler, all these Schleicher, who designed the head, with the BMW technology just before the war was unsurpassed for a race car, a sports race car, a road car. They won the Mille Amiga on a 2-litre engine, and it was very advanced. So after the war, these guys were in prison, or they got them to Filton to design a Bristol car, which was a post-war car, 1946, and I owned that one, 405. These cars, that was bought as a pretty rough, they were very expensive cars, coach built, but I bought one of those from a friend of my father who died actually at the wheel for a heart attack. So I had all these cars. They were their race team, especially. It was nothing to do with, that was their races. That was my first car, the 400.
Which one?
That one there. That's
Yeah.
the first. That was their first model, the 400.
A little black one.
That one there. That was the 400. Virtually the same as a pre-war BMW. Then they went. Being an aircraft company, they because it's angular in comparison to this, they developed an aerodynamic body for a 2-litre car which was as fast as a 3.5-litre car, and it was all hand built. And then they went, there's an open version, to a very exotic. Well, that was the 405. Mine was the 404, highly sought after, a 2-door racer. And that car there, they made 42 or 44 of the 404, but they were based on the racing technology, which was the 450. They weren't sold to the public. They were a racing coupe with fins on the back. Being an aircraft company, they were highly into aerodynamic. They did the D-type Jags. They've all worked hand in glove, all these exotics. But they, on the Muslim straight, were faster for 2-litre than the D-types, which were 3.5-litre, because of this stable fins on the back. Though the D-type had a fin, but there you are, and they're still going. That's the 405. I had one of those. Worked on several of those. I actually had a 405 and a 404 at the same time. That was the engine. Big, lovely chapter on the Bristol. There we are. There's the Jags. I'll show you the D-type Jaguar. Got to be here somewhere.
Right, hang on.
Child.